The Mystara project is proud to present part 15 of the Characters of Mystara series. In this video, we take a look at the captain of the Thyatian Imperial Guard, Acrision. Acrision was introduced in the Dawn of the Emperor's Book 1, the Dungeon Master's Sourcebook, on page 94, in 1989. Very little information was provided beyond his name and title. So we will now attempt to develop his details. He was born in AC 970 in one of the many tenements of Thyatys city. His father Theobius was a warehouse guard and his mother Flaviella was a legionnaire in the military. His older sister, Lucita, followed her father's footsteps, and is now a warehouse guard. His younger sister, Tarasica, is an artist who paints landscapes. In AC 977, Acrision's parents started teaching him the basics of how to fight. In AC 984, Acrision ran away from home to join the military. Through military training and adventuring in his spare time, he quickly progressed in experience as a fighter. He achieved basic mastery of the sword, learnt horse riding, endurance, intimidation, and detect deception skills. His progression was further aided when he found the magic sword, Ruperta, whilst adventuring. In AC 985, Acrision developed his leadership skills and had enough lucens to buy a warhorse, which he named Bessarine. In AC 988, Acrision turned 18, becoming a full citizen of the Empire. He joined West Reach Academy in Corenders. He impressed his instructors with his horsemanship and leadership, and progressed to expert mastery of the lance under their guidance. He also achieved basic mastery of the longbow and the short sword. In AC 989, after being taunted by another student, Acrision challenged him to a duel, which he won. But he got in a lot of trouble, and vowed to be more cautious in the future when taunted. In AC 991, Acrision turned 21 and came of age. He graduated from West Reach with a recommendation as a cavalry centurion for the Imperial Guard, and was presented with a magical lance +1, and a magical bugle of sleeping, for graduating with distinction. In AC 992, Acrision married a tanner, Maximita Asinavian. As an Imperial Guard centurion, he developed military tactics and mastered the lance. In AC 995, Acrision's father, Theobius, disappeared after meddling with a stone with glowing runes that he found in a warehouse. In AC 996, Acrision was promoted to captain of the Imperial Guard, after foiling a storm soldier plot to kidnap Empress Gabriella. Alas, a storm soldier cleric cursed his sword, Ruperta, during the battle. Now Acrision refuses to use any other weapon. In AC 999, Acrision became a father, with the birth of his son, Petrones. His full name is Euseres Acrision, an 11th level fighter of lawful alignment. He is slightly under average male Thyatian height at 5 foot 5 inches, and slightly overweight at 1,475 coin. He only speaks his native Thyatian tongue. He concentrated on strength instead of academia, and is fairly hearty, but somewhat clumsy. He has reasonable saving throws, with none worse than a 50% chance of success. He has a high morale of 10. Acrision's best skill is intimidation, which is useful for interrogating recalcitrant detainees and witnesses, and works about 80% of the time. He has 70% proficiency in endurance, however he rarely has had need of this skill since becoming an officer. He is fairly average at military tactics, leadership, and detecting deception. Despite his reputation from West Reach, his horsemanship is only 30% effective when coping with difficult situations. He has specialized weapons training in the lance, but has only used his sword since his confrontation with the storm soldiers. As an 11th level fighter, he may wield a lance, set a spear, and use the smash, parry, or disarm maneuvers. His 44 hit points are average for an 11th level fighter, but a bit below expectations for his above-average constitution. He is lightly armored, wearing leather +1 and a shield, allowing full movement speed. However, this comes at a cost, as his armor class of 5 is well below average for an experienced fighter. His Thaco of 13 is on par with 6+ to 7 hit dice creatures. Acrision's sword, Ruperta, has the finding talent, which functions like a locate object spell once per day. His bugle of sleeping puts listeners within 60 feet to sleep on a failed save versus spells, after it softly plays the lights-out military tune, taps, of its own accord once commanded for 1 minute. The tune can be interrupted by smashing and destroying the bugle, dispel magic, silence 15-foot radius, or equivalent spell effects. He also has a potion of levitation for an emergency escape. Acrision has strong positive personality traits, on account of his lawful alignment. Notably, he is loyal, courageous, forgiving and reverent of the Thyatian immortal pantheon. He tends to deliver orders as suggestions, recommendations, or invitations, rather than demands, with a strong implication that there will be negative consequences for refusing. He is naturally suspicious, however, which is required for his line of work, an outlier manifesting as low trust. Despite his line of work, he allows himself a chuckle at some of the situations he comes across, in particular tall tales told by the accused. The Thyatian Imperial Guard is a government department that reports directly to Emperor Thinkol. It acts as his bodyguard, but Thinkol also uses it as his secret police to gather information, intimidate rivals and eliminate problems. The guard comprises 600 Thyatian heavy infantry, 200 Thyatian archers and 500 Corendon lance cavalry troopers. The department is headed up by a minister appointed by the emperor. The guard is posted at the Imperial Palace on top of Emperor's Hill and in offices in the government district to the south of Emperor's Hill. Captain Acrision is based in the government district, which is more accessible to the common citizens. Routine reported injustices are either redirected to the city legionnaires or are handled by subordinates. Acrision personally questions people involved in serious crimes of concern to the emperor, such as an assassination plot. He can order Imperial Guard units to forcibly enter and search premises without a warrant. If the matter is of high importance, he will personally lead the search and any interrogations. He can also summon clerics and magic users from the Imperial Palace for assistance. In addition to healing wounds, the clerics can be ordered to cast Speak with Dead and Raise Dead to overcome this investigative obstacle. Magic users can assist where arcane evidence requires analysis. Acrision is respected by his men, although some think he is too young for his post. He is generally feared by senators and the populace. Some patricians mock his common background. He has strong suspicions that both of the popularly elected senators of Thyatys City are corrupt, but has no evidence that they are a threat to the throne. He is loyal to Emperor Thinkol, and has not done anything so far to get in Thinkol's bad books. There is possibly some tension with his superior, the Minister of the Imperial Guard, who appears to not be appointing the best officers to the guard on occasion. Whilst Acrision would like to rid his city of the Shadowhand thieves, he is pragmatic enough to know that previous attempts to do this have failed miserably, and that the guild has connections to the Imperial spy network. So he is careful to avoid them, and let the city legionnaires deal with their crimes. He is ambitious, and sees his career either progressing to Minister of the Imperial Guard or receiving a barony. Either way, he expects a knighthood is also in the offing. The basic level mini-adventure, the Thyatian Millennium, gives player characters the opportunity to meet Captain Acrision near the start of a campaign. The adventure commences in Thyatys City on the 28th of Caldmont AC 999. If Acrision is killed in this adventure, a palace cleric raises him. Other plots against the throne for Acrision to investigate could involve the Alphatians again, especially if their agent Tathanodorus survived, Alacian assassins like the Blue Hoods, senators, Thanatos agents like Vastor and the Storm Soldiers, the Shadowhand Thieves Guild, or the ambitious Duke Maldinius of Corenders. Perhaps the most dangerous plot to Acrision's position is Prince Eusebius's machinations to take his father's throne. He has been using a combination of gold and intimidation to install loyal followers in positions of power, including the Imperial Guard. If Acrision starts asking too many questions of his ministers' surprising appointments of Imperial Guard officers, Eusebius may arrange for him to disappear. This concludes our look at the captain of the Thyatian Imperial Guard, Acrision.